So I'm going to take you through a basic joint mobilization sequence. It's not super complicated. As you can see, I'm here in my kitchen at home. There's no equipment required. You could be using this as part of your morning wake-up routine. This could be a quick warm-up before your workout at the gym. This could be a little timeout that you have for yourself if you're at work and you're too busy to get a session in that day and you just need some time to just connect with your body. Whatever you're using this for, it should take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, and let's just get right into it. So we're going to start with just focusing on the breath, and before doing that, I just want you to ground your feet into the ground. So we're just going to spread the toes and just place the toes back down onto the ground, and see if you can feel the tripod of your foot. So the big toe, the pinky toe, and the heel of the foot, and the sort of lifting of the inner arch of the foot all the way up into the hips. Once you bring your awareness to your hips, just focus on a little bit of engagement of your glutes, just to bring the pelvis into more of a neutral position. And then from there, slight engagement to the core. So I want you to do is almost pretend that someone's going to go up and whack you in the belly and you're just trying to resist that. So there's a little bit of containment there. It's not a lot, just a little. Just bringing the pelvis into neutral. And then from there, we're just going to spend a moment breathing. So you can keep your eyes open or you can close your eyes. And what I'd like you to do is keep one hand on the belly and just cup the other hand on your sides. And then just see if you can feel there the breath coming in through the nostrils, so in through the nose. And into the belly. And see if you can feel not only the expansion of the belly into the hand in front, but also the expansion to the sides, and even into where your thumb is on your back. And if you've never done this before, if you're just waking up, or if you just want to take a few moments, I'd love for you to pause the video and just spend anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes just focusing on your breath, and then just come back to us. So now that we've established the breath, the grounding in our feet, containment of the core, what we're going to do is we're going to start mobilizing the spine. So we'll go through a bit of a segmental movement first. And just before we do that, whatever area of the body that we're focusing on, I want you to kind of imagine that you're moving that particular joint through a density that is a little bit thicker than the air. So by doing that, it's just going to help us to isolate that particular part of the body. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to bring the chin to the chest and just start to round the spine forward. As you round, I'm going to show you from the side, you're just coming into flexion of the spine. So rounding the back from the upper back to the mid back to the lower back, and we're trying to avoid kind of sending the hips back. So it's more just about the spine. And then from there, you're just going to restack back up again. Once you restack, you lift the head, back of the neck, upper back, mid back, maybe into the low back, and then restack from there. And then we'll go again forward, restack, up and back. Try not to crank the head back. Think about leaving almost like the same amount of distance between your vertebra, each one. So try to be equal with the movement as much as you can. Distribute it evenly. Try not to crank the head back. Try not to dump into the low back. So keep that containment in the front of your body as you come up. Make sure you maintain engagement of the glutes. Once you've got it, if you feel quite stiff, you can allow the hips to move. Once you've done this a few times, it's really, this is yours. This is up to you. So you're going to come up. It feels comfortable maybe once you come into the extension position a couple of times and it feels good to move the hips, and go ahead and do that as well. This is one of those, if it feels good, do it things. Let's do one more, all the way up. And then all the way forward into forward flexion. We're going to allow the hips to move this time. And then I'm just going to kind of roll back up from the base of my spine all the way up to the crown of my head. And then from there, we're going to move laterally, so we're going to move to the side. So ear to shoulder. As we move to the side, we start to side bend, and then we'll feel the rib connect with the hip. Once we get there, we can soften the knees a little bit. And then if you feel, if you would like, you could lift the top arm over. This can be pretty intense, so it's up to you. Restack, straighten the legs, come all the way back up, ear to shoulder, side bend the other way, soften the knees, maybe the other arm comes up and over, hang out there for a breath or two, and then come back up. So again, it's up to you. If you want to keep your arm out of the equation, you can just continue coming into your side bend. Try not to roll forward, try to keep it lateral. Just easing into the spine. Especially in the morning, this can feel pretty stiff. So just go easy. Good. Let's do one more. And then come all the way back up. Good. Good. So now we'll go through more of a kind of focused spinal movement now. So we'll start with the head, and then what we're going to do is, again, create that sense of containment in the belly. We're going to bring the chin to the chest, the ear to the shoulder, all the way back, and then all the way to the side. And I'd like you to keep that sort of sense of idea that the air has a bit more density in it than it usually would. So there's a bit of a controlled articulation here as we go around. So I'd like you to imagine that you have a pen coming out of the top of your head and you're trying to draw a big circle in the ceiling. All the way around. Try to keep your shoulders out of the equation. Keep everything contained so that you can isolate the neck. Good. And then we'll just switch directions. We'll go the other way. Nice and smooth, controlled. And then go all the way back up. We're going to do the same sort of sense of controlled circle with the upper back. I'll show you from the side. We're going to cross the arms, and again, we're going to pretend we're buried in sand now from the waist down. So maintain that sense of containment in the bottom half of your body. We're going to flex the spine, so come into a rounded back. And then we'll rotate over to one side into side flexion. Come all the way up into extension, lifting up and out of the hips, rotating to the other side, and then coming back down into that flexed back. So I'd like you to continue moving through this on your own and just, keep that sense of containment as you move through. Try to be really mindful of anywhere else in the body that's compensating. So the tendency for the hips to want to move, the shoulders. So we want to maintain minimal compensation throughout all of these. This should feel like work. So let's switch directions, other way. Focusing on that upper back. All the way forward. Nice, good. Shake that out for a moment. Okay, so now we're going to take our awareness and focus now on just moving into the shoulder blade. So to do that again, body is contained, Feet are grounded, glutes are on, core is on. You're gonna make a fist with the left hand and then bring your arm out either right in front of you or just about 30 degrees or so away from the body. And I'll show you again from the side at the beginning. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna move forward into protraction. So I'm gonna bring that shoulder blade off the back, come up into elevation, retract back, and then come down into depression. So those are all the 4 movements of that right shoulder blade that we want to go through. And again, controlled articulation, forward, up, back, down. One more, forward, up, squeeze back and pull down. And then we're going to switch directions. So same idea, only this time we're going to go back into retraction, elevate, come into forward protraction, and then depress. So see if you're able to isolate the movement of the shoulder blade rather than focusing on the arm, bending the elbow, focusing on this shoulder. You could do this in front of the video with me, or you can then start to practice it in front of the mirror, because that's really where you're going to see the cheats that I can't see right now in my own movements. Good. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So shake that arm out, make a fist, left arm, forward protraction, shoulder blade comes off the back, elevate up, pull back into retraction, and then pull down. So I'll show you again from the side, forward, up, back, down, forward, up, back, down. One more. Good, and then I'll show you from the back the other direction. So back, up, forward, down. Keep that right arm in check. Let's do one more, back, up, forward, down. Nice. Okay, so now we'll move into more of the movement of we're going to move into the right arm. So you're going to make a fist with the left hand, again, focusing on the right arm and the head of the shoulder. So we're going to come all the way up. Your thumb is going to be aiming kind of back behind you and your palm is facing in. From there, we're going to rotate around. So I want you to draw the biggest circle you can draw. So you can see from my face, I'm a little stiff today, all the way around so that the thumb is facing back and the palm is facing away. And then we'll go back the way we came. We'll hit that wall again. We'll externally rotate and come all the way back around. So I want you to focus on biggest circle you can draw, minimal movement of the spine. Rotate, rotate in. Back. Control the articulation of the shoulder, up, back, and around. This is where tension in the belly and the legs and the glutes really helps. I can't remember how many that was. We're going to do one more. So I've got you doing about 5 per direction, but what I want you to do is however many feels appropriate for you. So it might be, anywhere from 5 to 10. Make a fist with the right hand. Now we're going to move to the left, all the way up, hit a wall, internally rotate from the head of the shoulder all the way around till the palm is facing away and the thumb is back. And then we go back the way we came. Trying not to move the spine, focusing on the shoulder, all the way around for 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one coming up. All the way around, back, up, and around. Whew. Okay. If you're just waking up, guys, use less tension as you're waking up the body. If this is a warm-up for a workout, you might want to make faces like me. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to shift your weight over onto your left side now, stabilize that left leg, bring the right knee up. So similar idea, but we're going to move the hip through a circle just like we moved the arm. So we're going to come to the side. Now I'd like you to try to maintain minimal movement of the pelvis as we go through this. So focus on the hip, that ball and socket joint of the hip, up, over to the side, internally rotate as much as you can without kind of compensating there with the position of the pelvis. 3, and 4. I'm very stiff today, so bear with me. 5. Good. And then we're going to go the other direction. So we're going to go back, up, and around for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and last one for 1. Good. Switch. Stabilize the right leg. Left knee comes up. Move to the side. As we move, try not to take the whole body with you. So hips pointing forward. Focusing on just that knee, that hip. For 1. 2. 3. I'm not sure if you can hear me cracking away over here, but I am. It's not painful, just a little bit loud today. Good, now we're going to switch directions, so we'll go the opposite way. So back, up, and around. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of compensation going on. There's a reflection behind me I can see. It's really good to have a mirror or reflection as a teacher, keep you in check. But we work with what we've got. We work with what we got and we do our best. Okay, so we're going to do one more all the way around and down. Good, so just focusing on the knees now. We're going to bring the feet together. Hands are just on the tops of the thighs, and then just start to rotate the knees. So we're going to lean the knees into kind of a diagonal, then the hips, the heels will lift. We rotate, and we come back up. So we're just adding a little bit of load into the ankle and into the knee joint as we rotate. Only as much as the joint feels it can take. And just as you get warmer, you might feel you can go a little deeper. Good, and then let's switch directions. Good, and then from there, so for the ankle, we're just going to shift our weight over onto the left leg and then just bring the knee back up again. And then what we're doing here is we're just isolating each movement of the ankle. So you're kind of, again, just like all the other joints, you're trying to make trying to draw the biggest circle you can draw as you're moving through a density that's a little thicker than the air. So you probably hear my toes cracking as I go into a pointed position. So do at least 5 per direction, and then switch. You're also working on your balance here, so you're just maintaining a nice stable position of that opposite hip, firmly grounded into that foot. Tension in the core. And you'll notice there might be areas that you favor or directions that you favor. or lack in. Good, and then we're gonna switch to the other side. Stabilize the right leg, take the other ankle through a strict circle. You can probably see, I can actually see in the reflection there that my knee wants to rotate with. So what we want to do is try as best as we can to keep the isolation in the joint itself that we're focusing on. Good, and then we're just going to switch. And there you have it. For those of you who are staying on for the squat routine, just bring your feet about hip distance apart, and then from here, we're just gonna come down into our squat. If you don't have a deep squat, what you can do is you can hold on to a railing or a bar or a chair, whatever it is that you have around you. So we're just gonna bring the outer arms into the inner thighs, and we're gonna circle. Another thing you can do is you can elevate your heels on something if you find that you feel like you're going to fall over when you're in this squat position. So we're just going to circle the edges of the feet all the way around a few times, and then just switch directions. Getting into a little deeper into the ankle, the hip, and the knee joints. So with the outer arms into the inner thighs, we'll then just pulse in and out with the assistance of the outer arms. Just getting into the inner groins a little bit more. Good. And then what I like to do here, once I've done this about 10 times, is just keep the knees out, bring the arms forward, and can you engage the glutes, come into external rotation of the hip without the arms, and then relax. And then squeeze, find it, relax. 3. We're going to do 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm exaggerating a bit, 9, so you can kind of see the action I'm trying to get you to find. 10, good. And then from there, if you find that you need a break from the squat, you can bring your hands behind you. And what we're going to do here is we're going to focus on external rotation from the hip. So we rotate on the ball of the foot, come back, and then in. External rotation here. Even if you found your squat to be fine, just come back into the supported position for this part. External rotation. Good. I'm only going to do 5, but you can do anywhere from 5 to 10. You're going to pause in external rotation for a few extra breaths, and then come back. And then we'll switch to the other side, externally rotate, and back. 4, 3, 2, 1, pausing here, and then back. And then we'll go to the other side again, and we'll work on internal rotation for 1, for 2, for 3, 4, 5, holding internal rotation, and back. Opposite side. Holding here, and back. Let's come back to our squat. And now I'll just show you how to do those external and internal rotations from a loaded position. So if you have it, what you're going to do here is you're going to plant the other arm just there to keep the hip as it is. You're going to use either your elbow, your forearm, or maybe even your hand to bring you into external rotation. 4, 3, doesn't matter, 2, wherever your range is. Once you've done 5, hold here. And then come back, switch to the other side. 5. You're not forcing. 4. See if you could actually bring it there without your arm. 2. Hold. And back. Good. Now internal rotation. Internal, and back. Just coming to wherever your range will allow. Doesn't have to touch the floor. Pausing there. And switch. So you can skip this part if you find the deep squat too much at the moment, and just work yourself into that part. Good. And then from here, we're going to bring the hands down if we need to shift the weight over onto the ball of one foot, reach with the knee, and come back. So you can use the floor here. Absolutely. Just going to move back a bit to make sure you can see me. Use the floor, shift. Or switch to the other side, maybe you don't need to use the floor, doesn't matter. What we're focusing here is the big toe joint. And come back to squat. Good. From there, squeeze your glutes, drive the hips, come all the way up. And we'll just finish with some standing hip circles, just to get rid of some of that tension in the hips there. Couple one way, couple the other way. All right, and you're done.